Hello, my name is Ray. Actually, I'm the owner of Farmers Insurance, the Actually team in Shepherd, Texas. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about auto liability insurance and how it works and how the coverages work for you. I want to try to be as brief as I can, but also try to give you as much information as I possibly can. The basic understanding of what insurance is it's just a transfer of risk from you to a company that you pay a premium to, and they agree to cover certain risks for you. The basic risk that is required by law is your liability insurance. You take risk every day because you're getting into a vehicle and you're getting on the roadway out there with hundreds and thousands of other drivers, and some are great drivers like you, and some are fair drivers, and then others you just wonder how in the world did they ever get a driver's license. Well, your liability is the biggest thing that you need to consider when you're on the roadway, and here's why. The state requires certain minimums. Luckily for us in Texas, we're at one of the higher required limits. Other states sometimes require about half of this. We're kind of lucky to have those numbers because at least we're getting something for coverage, because we have to remember liability only covers the other person. It doesn't cover anything for you. It covers their bodily injury and it covers their property, and that's it. But it only covers up to the limits of what you pay for. And so when we start shopping insurance, the first thing we're doing, and a lot of times why we're shopping insurance is for price, not product. That's something that I would love to change in the insurance industry. It's a little known fact that you can triple these numbers right here for just a little bit of money every month, and I'm talking less than a few hundred per year, and you're talking 100,000 in property damage in some cases, or 50,000. I mean, you can double it, you can triple it, you can go up as high as you want to go, but ultimately this is the state minimum. So this property damage, for example, if you're driving down the road and for some reason you have an at-fault accident, you slam into an $85,000 vehicle, which these days is not hard to do, and your insurance company goes, okay, you were at fault, you have $25,000 in allowance for that property damage, so we're going to pay $25,000 toward that vehicle. So now you're left holding the bag for $60,000. Somehow you're going to more than likely end up having to pay that. The next thing we would talk about is we talk about the injury. Let's just say that the person had to be transported by ambulance and they had to go to the emergency room and they had some injuries and it was just the one person. You're allowed up to $30,000 by the state minimums in order to pay those medical bills for that individual. Now, if there's more than one individual in the vehicle, it'll pay up to $60,000, but that's it. Once it hits those limits, insurance is done. So you could take these numbers and you could go 100,000 per person, 300,000 per occurrence, and then you could go 100,000 on property damage. 100,000 would cover that $85,000 vehicle, and you would be just fine. And think about it, rather than having to pay the differences and all of this, which could get way up there. I mean, I've seen it in half millions that an accident has resulted. So at least you have something, because there's other things you can do. There's umbrellas that you can buy that will attach to your auto policy. Once you hit certain limits of coverage, you can buy an umbrella policy that gives you up to another $1 million or even $2 million in liability coverages for a couple of $100s a year. But unfortunately, whenever we start calling into these call centers and places like that, the agent is focused on earning your business. The agent gives you what you ask for. You ask for the state minimum, you ask for very limited numbers just to get by and save a few dollars a month. And I've learned since I've started quoting people in insurance, when I sit down with them and I start talking to them and I'm like, hey, we can cut these certain coverages back a little bit because you don't need so much over here because maybe your vehicle's paid for. And we'll talk about those later in another video, but we can take that money and we can transfer over into liability. We can raise your liability limits a little bit, a few dollars a month, and you're gonna have a lot more coverage than you have now. So this was just kind of a short video just wanting to give you some ideas of next time you shop insurance, whether it's with me, whether it's with someone else. These are things to consider. But something else is whenever you choose an agent or you choose an agency, think about something. Do they call you and ask you about changes in your household? Do they make sure that all your drivers are listed properly? Do they make sure that if the insurance company doesn't know about it, the insurance company isn't going to pay for it? That's something to understand. So it's good that if you have an agent that reaches out to you, say, hey, your renewal is coming up. Has anything changed? Are your vehicles the same? Or, is there something that we need to know about? Funny fact, I got a letter in the mail one time. There's a lot of things that got me into insurance. I think the really great one for me was, I got a letter in the mail from my insurance company. And it was getting real close to my renewal. And the insurance company says, hey, we're canceling your policy. And so I looked down to see why. Well, it said, when your policy renews, we're canceling you. So I look down and I'm digging through the letter and I get to the reason why. The reason why was because I had a bad mailing address on file. I received the letter in the mail, okay? So I called the insurance company up and I asked them about it. They said, yeah, it shows you have a bad address. I said, well, did y'all call me? Oh no, that's your responsibility to call us. So, but I didn't know, and then the agent's like, well, or the call center's like, well, you gave us this address. And I said, well, the address is correct apparently because I got my mail, I get my bill every month. Well, we're just telling you what the system says. And I said, well, I understand that. I said, who do I talk to get this changed? They said, well, you have to talk to underwriting. And I'm like, okay. So they transfer me to underwriting. I get over there and talk to the young lady, explain it to her. She's like, no, that's something that billing needs to handle where you were. And I'm like, yeah, I felt that way too, but they sent me over here. And she's like, well, I really can't help you. So they send me back over to billing and I explain the situation. You've all been there, you know what I'm talking about. But you can take all of that away with just one agent that can cover all of your insurance needs: your home, your auto, your motorcycle, your ATV, your UTV, your travel trailer, your life, your health, your Medicare, any insurance you need, your commercial. We can do it all. We can do it right here in one system together with a bundle. I hope you learned something because I know I did. Y'all have a great day.